It has been a substantial amount of time since we've had anything first party to talk about in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, but thanks to Ravenloft Horrors Within, that is no longer the case. The book has just released, and I am going to go through all of the player options, of which there are some. I'm going to be real with you. I think this book is less for players and a lot more for DMs, to be frank, which is fine. It's good to have books like that. I'm going to go over the species options, I'm going to go over the species options, and then I'm going to go over the subclass options, comparing the new ones to the old ones where appropriate for the subclasses, and my general thoughts on the book as well. Coming in off the back of some fairly heavy-hitting third-party books this year, including Exploring Eberron, the Dr. Drollin's Dictionary of Dinosaurs, Griffin Saddlebag, Helliana's Part 2, and most recently released Northland's books. There is not that much to talk about here, which is a novel change of pace. The book is on the cheaper end of things, as far as these things go, but I do want to know how you will feel about this, especially if you are first party only. How does it feel to have waited this long for 7 subclasses, 5 of which are effectively reprints? So let's check it out, shall we? Oh, also, I've added, extra things to my setup, so you can see my face closer. But I promise not to use this one too much. Also, if my voice sounds a little bit funny, it's because I spent all weekend at UKGE, the UK Games Expo, and got to hang out with a lot of my wonderful content creator friends, where we laughed and shouted a lot, which is why my throat is in tatters. Anyway, as you can see here in the contents, we have the character options first, subclasses, backgrounds. There are 4 backgrounds, there are 4 new species, 3 of which are reprints. There are 2 origin feats, and there are some dark gifts, which I will have some strong words for shortly. There are also the domains, which is all the information you need about all the domains, as well as the boards there. How to make your own ones as well, which is a cool concept. How to make bastions work as well, and horror role-playing. And also a bunch of monsters. Always good to have monsters. So let's go into the character options, shall we? We'll start off with something new, which is very exciting. We get a Reanimator artificer. Reanimators defy the laws of nature in pursuit of gruesome experiments. These grim artificers stitch together servants from disparate corpses, use foul magic to strengthen the living, and transform the art of necromancy into a terrifying science. I do love the artwork. Look at this good boy. That is an SCP. I stand by the fact that I think that the reason Dr. Drollin's fighter subclass wasn't printed as an artificer subclass as it was in the original book is because of this. Level 3, you get Reanimator spells. You get False Life, Spare the Dying, and Witch Bolt at level 3. Blindness, Deafness, and Enhance Ability at level 5. Animate Dead and Lightning Bolt at level 9, Blight and Death Ward at level 13, and Anti-Life Shell and Raise Dead at level 17. It's not a bad list of spells, certainly thematic. Level 3 you also get Reanimator's skill set. When you cast Spare the Dying, you can modify it so it spends a jolt of electricity through a target, reviving it. Target regains a number of hit points equal to your Artificer level, and each creature of your choice in the 10-foot emanation has to make a dex save or take 2d4 lightning damage. You can modify the spell the number of way equal to your intelligence modifier. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. The lightning damage of this feature increases by 1d4 when you reach levels 11 and 17. Why not have it scale with the cantrip levels? What's the logic there? I'd love to know. Still, having a cantrip turn into a healing spell is pretty powerful. You also get proficiency with alchemist supplies, which is nice. But it doesn't say that your crafting with them is halved, which is interesting. Maybe because the aura's already halved, because it's usually going to be consumables. I like the pink. Colour pink is really nice. Anyone else feeling that? Just me? Just me. You get Reanimated Companion also at level 3. You can make this Reanimated Companion using some artisan's tools. The companion manifests in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you, and you use a magic action. You get to choose however it looks, but it doesn't change the statistics. Friendly to you, lasts until a long rest or until you take a magic action to dismiss it. Drops to 0 hit points, which triggers its death burst, or if you die. Once you create a companion, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, or you expend a spell slot to create one. You can only have one at a time and can't create one while your companion is present. This once again makes me wonder why this and the Steel Defender are once per long rest, but they last till long rest, and why the Arcane Cannon is a much shorter duration. Doesn't make any sense to me. Don't think it's a balance thing. I think it's confusing. In combat, it takes its reaction on its own. Otherwise, it just takes the dodge action unless you use a bonus action. Standard pet stuff has an AC of 10 plus your intelligence modifier, so it's going to be usually starting out at 13 and going up to 15, usually, max. And then HP is 5 times 5 times your artificer level, so 20 to begin with. Resistance is to necrotic and poison. Immunity is to lightning, charmed, and exhaustion. Blind sight of 60 feet. That's not bad at all. Traits. When it dies, it explodes. DC is your spell save. It's a 10-foot emanation, and it deals 2d4 necrotic damage on a failed save. That's a lot. So much damage. I hope the other features boost that. It also has lightning exhaustion, so when it takes lightning damage, it regains hit points equal to the lightning damage dealt. That's a lot of fun. You just need to take lightning bolt or something, and you're good to go. Do artificers get lightning bolt as standard? I really hope so. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then its action is a dreadful swipe. It has your spell attack modifier. It's a 1d4 plus your int mod of necrotic damage, and the target can't take opportunity attacks until the start of its next turn. That's pretty nice. Not reactions though, just opportunity attacks. Weirdly niche. Strange modifications at level 5. You can either cast spells as though you were in its space, but you must use your own senses. Once per turn, when you cast an artificer spell from the evocation or necromancy school, and it will damage while your companion is within 120 feet of you, you can add your intelligence modifier to 1 damage roll of that spell. That's like a 4 boost most of the time at level 5. You can also have it be slightly stronger, 1d6 instead of 1d4, which is an average of 1 extra damage. Okay, that's really not a choice. That's not actually a choice. It looks like a choice, but it's not. You can either do 4 extra damage, potentially to an AoE, right? Fireball, for example. Not that you have Fireball at level 5, but you get my meaning. Or you can do 1 extra damage, which is something. I mean, I guess it can use its reaction on its own, so it can opportunity attack, but unless you can force creatures to want to come after something other than it, it's not going to happen. Level 9, you get improved reanimation. The death burst goes up to 4d4. That's an average of 10 damage. Necrotic damage dealt by your companion ignores resistance. That's okay. Level 9, you also get macabre modifications. And if you create a reanimated companion, the companion now gains 2 options for strange modifications instead of 1, and you get to choose from the following options. You can make it large. When it hits a creature that's large or smaller with its dreadful swipe, the creature is pushed 10 foot away from the companion. Additionally, you can add your int mod to the damage dealt by the death burst. That's not bad. It's mostly the movement thing, but still. Gaunt, its speed increases to 45 feet and it gains a climb speed. It can climb difficult surfaces without needing to make an ability check. In addition, whenever a creature of your choice, or creatures of your choice, it says a creature of your choice, starts within 10 feet of your companion, it must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC or become frightened. Or moist, the companion gains a swim speed equal to its speed and it can move through a space as narrow as 1 inch without expending extra movement to do so. Additionally, if it's hit by an attack roll from a creature within 10 feet of it yourself, the attacker takes acid damage equal to your intelligence modifier. That's pretty cool. I do think all the choices there, realistically, you get 2 options, right? Arcane Conduit is still probably the best one if you're doing AoE spells. If you're doing a Reanimated Companion build specifically, like that's your aim, maybe the Ferocity and the Gaunt. The large is nice and the movement is nice, undoubtedly, but the extra speed is such a big deal to get it into melee with things. And the Frightened condition is never a bad thing either. That being said, I do quite like the auto attack from the acid damage here. It's got, what, 50 health at this point, which isn't awful. And then the final feature is Refined Reanimation. You can cast Raise Dead once without expending a spell slot and without material components, providing you use Tinker Tools or another type of artisan's tools. You can only do this once per long rest. Free Raise Dead is never bad. You can also siphon the animating magic of your companion to bolster yourself. When you're your companion, you take damage. You can take a reaction to gain a number of hit points equal to your companion's current hit points, and then it immediately drops to 0 hit points and dies. You can do that as many times as you want. That's cool. And whenever you create a reanimated companion, you can now choose 3 options. So this is the pet subclass, despite it being the... I mean, it says reanimator, but it's less about reanimating your friends and a lot more about just making this CP doggo. Yeah. And it's nice to have another artificer subclass. You can put Witch Bolt in your spell storing thing. Oh yeah, they get Lightning Bolt in the spells. Okay, so you get Lightning Bolt in your spell storing item. That's a pretty cool thing to have. And you can, with that in mind, your best bet is probably Lightning Bolt in the spell storing item from level 11, obviously. And then probably Arcane Conduit and Gaunt, and potentially the Bloated. And then you just spam lightning bolts through your, like, at your creature and whatever it's fighting. That's kind of cool. I don't dislike that as a general vibe. And then you just keep it alive. You probably want Moist as your third option as well, so that it always deals damage, because if it keeps getting hit and you can keep healing it, then that's fine, right? I don't dislike it. It certainly nails the flavor. It just feels a bit uninspired. I think I'm just spoiled by third-party stuff, and I think that's going to be the lesson here today. And if you're thinking, if you're typing at the moment, third-party stuff is just stronger. Wizards of the Coast, blah, blah, blah. Third-party stuff is homebrew. I need you to understand that Wizards of the Coast do not perfect their balance in these things. I like a lot of what the company does from a D&D standpoint, obviously. I wouldn't play it otherwise. But balance-wise, it's a little wonky. Moon Druids exist, for example, and Conjure Minor Elementals is still basically a must-have. So, yeah. Anyway, College of Spirits Bard. This is the first one we can compare. Level 3, you get Channeler. You know, the guidance cantrip has a range of 60 feet when you cast it. It's banging. Spiritual Focus. You employ tools to aid in your channeling spirits. You gain a gaming set, playing cards. You just gain playing cards when you hit level 3. That's kind of fun. Obviously, it's meant to be tarot cards, right? You can also use a crystal or an orb or a candle or an ink pen or something as your bard focus. It used to list skull, I think. Should we check? Let's see. College of Whispers, guidance cantrip, 60. Yep, counts as a bard spell. Doesn't say that it counts as a bard spell here. Is it already a bard spell? It might already be a bard spell. Hierarchical, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Skull. Yeah, why did they get rid of skull? Why can't you use a skull anymore? Oh, also it said that starting at 6th level, you deal extra damage. I assume that's just been moved to levels 3. You also get Spirits from Beyond. This is your feature to do this. As a bonus action, you expend your Bardic Inspiration to roll on the Spirits table. You get more as you level up, which is a fun way of doing things. And then as a magic action, you can unleash a spirit. Choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself. The spirit then takes effect. Isn't that what it used to be? I thought they changed that in the UA. Holding thing, bonus action to activate. I thought it was like I thought in the UA they made it so that it was a bonus action to activate, like spend it, and then also you could activate it straight away, or it lasted longer, maybe? Because this didn't last for very long. Maybe? No, that's not what it says. Yeah, until you finish a long or short rest. Okay. Have these changed? Hit points plus charisma. Yeah, they've changed these a lot. Okay, cool. So you can heal something, you can deal damage to something. When it gets hit, it takes extra damage equal to your force modifier. That's objectively worse than Sharpshooter, but okay. Like substantially worse. Actually, Avenger is substantially worse than Sharpshooter. Renegade, target to make it take a reaction to teleport. I loved that. I've played a Spirits Bard. I think the Spirits Bard is a lot of fun, but that was in the old rules. And it does feel clunky quite quickly. Fortune Teller has advantage on D20 tests until the start of your next turn. That's fantastic. Gains 10 health equal to your Bardic Inspiration die plus your Bard level, and its speed increases. Wisdom saving throw, or takes damage equal to 2 rolls, and is charmed. You can make someone invisible. When it ends, creatures within a 5-foot emanation must succeed in a con save, or take necrotic damage equal to 2 rolls your Bardic Inspiration die. That's fun. I like that one a lot. That's cool. The target makes a dex save, taking fire damage equal to 4 rolls on a failed save. The target in each creature of your choice might become frightened. If it's frightened, its speed is halved, and it can take either an action or bonus action, or both. That's cool. Brute must make a strength save. They take something thunder damage equal to 3 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die and become prone. And Priest is regain hit points equal to 2 rolls of your Bardic Inspiration die, and you can end one of the following conditions. Priest is super weak. Super weak. It's nice to have that, I guess, but like only if they already have one of these conditions. Otherwise, you're just kind of blur about it, right? So level 6, you get empowered channeling once per turn. Yeah, you roll a d6. They gain a number of equal to your spell. I'm just trying to remember what it was specifically. It was exactly the same. Okay, so they just moved it into the number 6 thing. Okay, that's fine. You also always have the Spirit Guardians prepared. Cast it once for free. You can also modify it. When you cast it, your allies gain half cover. That's cool. But you can only do that once per short or long rest. You can't do anything else with it. You used to be able to get a spell by doing a seance, basically, which is super cool. And they were like, no, have Spirit Guardians instead. And then Mystical Connection at level 14. You gain mastery over the spirits you call forth. When you roll, you can roll twice and choose which one you want. You roll both. The same number, you can choose any effect. And I think that was the same. Yeah, I meant to use this. Ready? Ooh, it's another version of the thing. I'm trying to be more professional, can you tell? So professional. This is meant to be the reviewing, like when I talk about the whole thing, you're here. Okay, so the options on the Spirits from Beyond are better. I'm sad it's not activate. I'm sad that you can't bestow these as a bonus action, whether as part of the same bonus action that you used to channel them in the first place or one later on. It's requiring a magic action makes it a lot harder to justify when you have things like spells, which you do because you're a bard. That being said, the options are generally a lot more interesting, or certainly a lot more balanced and powerful than they were, so that's good. The Spirit Guardians thing is rough, frankly. I think that's a downgrade to you get to choose a spell. It was necrotic before. Not necrotic? Divination or necromancy spell. Super cool. You don't get that anymore. It's more or less the same, right? It's just side grade. I would consider that a side grade. So that's good if that's what you were looking for. Onto the Grave Renown Cleric. I've played one of these too in a two-shot. Name was Dwal. She was Australian. She had the Australian accent anyway. Let's see, level 3, Grave Domain spells. Level 3, you get Detect Evil and Good, False Life, Gentle Repose, Ray of Enfeeblement, and Spare the Dying. Level 5, you get Revivify and Vampiric Touch. Level 7, you get Blight and Death Ward. And level 9, you get Dispel Evil and Good and Raise Dead. We also get Circle of Mortality at level 3. Once per turn, when you deal damage to a creature that's missing any hit points by casting a spell or by hitting with an attack roll, the creature takes an extra 1d4 necrotic damage. This damage goes up to 1d6 at level 11. Once per turn, you get 2.5 extra damage or 3.5 at level 11. Why isn't that scale higher? I don't understand the scaling that Wizards is going for with these subclasses, man. You can also cast Spare the Dying as a bonus action. That's kind of cool. Additionally, if you would roll 1 or more dice to restore hit points to a creature with 0 hit points with a spell or channel divinity, you just use the highest number possible instead. That's nifty. I like that. Path to the Grave, also at level 3, as a bonus action. You're like, yo, bro, I'm so holy. That's the actual text. You expend a use of your channel divinity to curse a creature. While cursed, the creature has disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. When you or an ally hits the cursed target, you can cause the curse to end early to make the attack deal extra radiant or necrotic damage equal to your level. I mean, to start your next turn. Unless you're doing that just before that turn, that's not great. Don't do that. What did they get before? They got domain spells. This is first party. Why? 2 lists. Why is one of them at what? Oh, it's the features. Features. I'm being silly. That was on me, honestly. Right, Circle of Mortality, Spare the Dying, blah, blah, blah. 30 feet, bonus action. Did they take the 30 feet thing? They did take the 30 feet thing. They made it worse. That's fun. Okay, where you also roll max. Yep, that's still the same, but you don't get the extra death. The extra damage. You don't get the extra damage. Eyes of the Grave, you can... That was one of the things, wasn't it? You could just see undead. Path to the Grave. It only did... Oh, no, it gave vulnerability. Oh, they removed it. They nerfed it. They nerfed it a lot. Oh, they nerfed it a lot. Disadvantage is cool, but vulnerability is sick. That's upsetting. Level 6, Sentinel at Death's Door. When you're a bloodied creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself is hit with an attack roll. You can take a reaction to halve the damage. You don't have to be bloodied then, presumably. If the triggering attack was a crit, the crit is cancelled. You can do this number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. Reaction, blah, blah, blah. You can turn a crit into a non-crit. That makes sense. That's better. Because crits are, chance-based. I mean, hitting is chance-based too, but it's a higher chance, right? Unless you're facing a Marut, in which case they can just hit, but they also can't crit, so it doesn't matter. Level 17, Divine Reaper. Let's see, when you cast a spell of level 5 or lower from the Necromancy School that targets one creature, or when you cast a spell from the Grave Domain spells table, you can use a Channel Divinity to target a second creature. That's cool. If it requires consumed material components or costed components, you must provide materials for both. And when an enemy dies within 60 feet of you, or one creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself regains hit points, equal to twice your cleric level. You can't do this if you're incapacitated. You can only do this once per short or long rest unless you expend a level 6 slot. What did they get? Well, potent spellcasting was added to the main class, so that's fine. Equals to the enemy's number of hit die. Okay, so that's just better as well. Okay, so level 6 and 17 are better. Level 3 is, I would say, worse. And Spare the Dying doesn't have a range of 30 feet. What a weird change. Wait, there we go. Correct screen. I'm so good at this. What a weird list of changes. I'm trying to think if that's better or not. Punch my microphone. Great. Good work. I mean, the extra damage is... The Pull of Death thing is negligible. 2.5 extra damage a turn is nothing. 3.5 extra damage a turn is nothing. It doesn't scale. You can only do it once per turn. It's just naff. It's weird that they removed the 30-foot clause from Spare the Dying. I don't really understand why they've done that. I like the disadvantage. Don't love that it's just extra damage instead of vulnerability. Vulnerability is a lot of fun, and yes, it's very strong, but it's okay for things to be strong. You don't have to change them just because they're good. The reaction is better. That's just straight up better. So, we've got to get that going for us. And level 17 used to just be the healing thing, and it was worse healing. And you can also target two creatures now with the enhanced necromancy. I like that a lot. So if you're playing one up to level 3, I guess, inclusive, this is worse. If you're playing it to level 17, I guess it's better. I would say it's better overall, but like narrowly. Anyway, here's the one most people are excited for. It's the Hollow Warden Ranger, which has nothing to do with Shinigami. Anime joke for those of you out there. Level 3, I'll do the lore of this one because it's new. Legends tell that the most ancient and bloodthirsty terrors lurk deep within the old places of the earth. Hollow Wardens venerate and draw power from such beings, transforming themselves into merciless and monstrous guardians that stalk jagged coastlines, steep mountain crags, and other deep and wild places. Cool. The artwork is sick. Like, I do want to... The artwork is incredible throughout. Amazing. Good work. Let's see. Level 3 spells. You get Wrathful Smite at level 3, Alter Self at level 5, Phantom Steed at level 9, Dominate Beast at level 13, and Steel Wind Strike at level 17. Steel Wind Strike is a banger of a spell. That's a good spell list. I like that. Level 3, you also get Wrath of the Wild, which has nothing to do with Breath of the Wild, presumably. You draw power from the strange and ancient horrors of the land, causing you to sprout unnatural growth, such as bloody antlers or putrid fangs, or causing your shadow to lengthen or twist around. As a bonus action, you can spend your favoured enemy to transform into a ghastly form, gaining the following benefits for a minute. You get an extra 1 AC. It's no longer equal to your wisdom modifier, which is probably for the best. This goes up to 2 at level 11. Again, why is this not like 3 at level 17? You're not going to break the game by making it scale more interestingly. Because nobody's playing a ranger to level 17. Not without a bunch of homebrew stuff. Immediately after a creature you can see within 5 feet of yourself deals damage to you or one other of your allies, you can make an opportunity attack against that creature. That's cool. This feels like it would be a good rogue multiclass just because of that. And when you transform in at the start of your subsequent turns, each creature of your choice in a 10-foot emanation originating from you has to make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, they get scared. Okay, a mushroom. On a failed save, they get frightened. Okay, Hungering Might. You gain a bonus to your constitution saving throws equal to your wisdom modifier. In addition, once per turn when you hit a creature with an attack roll while transformed, you regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your wisdom modifier, provided you are bloodied when you hit. Why is that not at the front? In addition, while bloodied... What? Or when you hit a creature in an attack roll while bloodied, I don't Okay, it's fine, it's good, healing is good. I'm not... The feature's not an issue, the wording was weird. Right? Level 11, Rot and Violence. Your dedication to wild eldritch beings alters you further. While transformed, you also gain the ability to stop creatures using reactions or gaining hit points if they are scared of you. And when you hit a creature with a weapon, you can use the sap or slow mastery in addition to it. That's super cool. Oh, I love that. That's so sick. I'm back in. Ancient Might. When you hit a creature that has the frightened... This is level 15. Frightening addition with an attack roll deals extra damage equal to your wisdom modifier. That's not once per turn. Can you imagine? This one got all the power. That's a actually useful feature. I'm being so sassy. If you're reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright while transformed, you can surge. Your hit points become twice your ranger level instead. You can only do this once per long rest or expend a level 4 spell slot to get that bit. You also get immunity to the exhaustion condition. Okay, cool. This is a good subclass. That's not a huge shock, right? That's probably the best first-party ranger subclass. I actually don't know that it's close. There are a few reasons for this. The free extra damage is just good, and that's on every hit. The Fey Wanderer gets that, right? 1d4. I think one of the other ones does as well, but it's once per turn. Also 1d4 is, again, as I've said, 2.5 damage. 2.5 damage once per turn is you could have an owl drop a rock on someone and do something similar. Also, it is not in any way asking you to use Hunter's Mark. You can use that if you want to, but it's turning your favoured enemy into a wild shape adjacent feature, and I just think that's better design. The only issue with that, obviously, is that if you are going to take this all the way, you do lose out on a couple of things by not casting Hunter's Mark. But that is an issue with the core class, not an issue with a subclass. The subclass is fantastic. The core class is an embarrassment. And if you think that's too harsh, I need you to understand that the level 20 capstone feature is embarrassing. It's awful and it's terrible. And there's every chance I make a video just on the capstone features just to talk about how bad it is, but that's for another day. Anyway, onto the Phantom Rogue. This one holds a special place in my heart because a player and a friend of mine used it, and the character was nuts. Level 3, Wails from the Grave. Immediately after you deal sneak attack damage on your turn, you can target a second creature you can see within 30 feet of the first one. Or half the number of sneak attack damage for your level, rounded up, and the second creature takes damage equal to the total. You can do this a number of times equal to your dex modifier and regain all uses on a long rest. What was that before? They've swapped them round. Arguably, proficiency bonus is better because it goes higher. So that's fun. You also get Whispers of the Dead. When you finish a short long rest, you can choose a thing that you get good at. Okay, and that was the same. Cool. Tokens of the Spirits of the Dead are drawn to you. You gain 2 soul trinkets, which is a tiny object. If you move more than 30 feet away from the trinket, it immediately teleports to you, appearing somewhere on your person. That's fun because it means it can't be taken from you, and I do like that as a bit of flavour. You can use these in the following ways. When you deal sneak attack damage on your turn, you can destroy one to immediately use Wells from the Grave without spending any use from the feature. And when you have at least one, you get advantage on death saving throws and constitution saves. Very cool. And you can take a magic action to destroy one to cast Augury. For free, basically. That's cool. Also, if you know the creature with which the trinket is associated, you can ask the creature's spirit a question instead of casting the spell. It will appear to you and answers as concisely as possible in a language it knew in life. Concisely as possible, so it can't waffle. No chatting, no yapping here. You can gain additional ones by taking a reaction to steal the soul of something within 30 feet. If you can only have a maximum of 2. If you get a new one, you have to get one of the old ones. You can get an extra one at 13 and 17. See, that scaled at 13 and 17. Why 13 and 17 and not 11 and 17? Because it's a subclass feature. It doesn't really matter though, does it? Let's see. The original was... You have a maximum... I swear to God. You have a maximum equals your proficiency bonus. Advantage. Wells from Grave. You can ask it a question. Right, okay, so they changed it to you can do Augury and you get 2. You just have 2. But only when you level up? Yes. It's not 2 per long rest. Okay. Interesting. This is breaking my brain. And you get Augury. So that's good. I guess that's better. I mean, it is better. That is better. Except you get fewer of them. Because you only get 17 at level 4 instead of 6 is 18, maybe? 6 might be 18. Yeah, there we go. Whenever you finish long rest with fewer than 2, you get 2. Okay, so you always have at least 2, basically. So that is better, but you get fewer of them. But they're giving you some here and there, so you've got that going for you. You also get Voice of the Dead, which you didn't used to get. You can cast Speak with the Dead once without a spell slot. You use Con for your Augury casting, but Dex for your Speak with the Dead casting. Once per short long rest, you can target a trinket from one of your trinkets. Okay, cool. Level 13, Ghost Walk. As a bonus action, you assume a spectral form, gaining the benefits below for 10 minutes until you end them. You get a fly speed of 10 and a can hover. Attack rolls against you have disadvantage, and you can move through creatures and objects, but take 1d10 if you're stopped in them. Ghost Walk, you can phase, blah blah blah, as a bonus action. Is it a bonus action? It's just the walking. No, it's exactly the same. Exactly the same. Okay, exactly the same. Nothing has changed. Level 17, Death's Friend. When you use the Wells from the Grave, you can deal the feature's necrotic damage to both the first and second creature. And when you roll initiative, you gain a soul trinket if you have none remaining. First and second, exactly the same. It's exactly the same. So this is going to give me an aneurysm. I think this is worse. Apart from the fact that you get 2 soul trinkets every long rest and you get Augury, I think this might be worse. If I'm missing something, let me know. Hold on, I did it again. If you're like, yes, Jason, you're missing the fact that you set up a new screen and you forgot to use it. Yeah, I think it's worse. Yay? 2 more. Thank God. Shadow Sorcerer. Why is the artwork so cool? Look at this stuff, man. Level 3 spells. Bane, Darkness, Inflict Wounds and Pass Without Trace. That's solid. Level 5 is Hunger of Hadar and Non-Detection. Level 7, I don't know what accent that was, is Greater Invisibility and Phantasmal Killer. Level 9 is Contagion and Creation. Power of Creation for a Crustacean. Level 3, you get Power of Shadow, Eyes of the Dark, Dark Vision of 120 feet, and Blind Sight of 10 feet. If you cast something with darkness, you can see through it. Also, if you would hit 0 hit points and not die outright, you can make a charisma save, 5 plus the damage taken. On a successful save, your hit points change to a number equal to your charisma modifier plus your sorcerer level once per long rest. What was Power of the Dark before? So you got the Eyes of the Dark, yeah. You just got darkness, and you could cast it for 2 sorcery points instead, but not for free. You don't get that at all now. Instead, you get the Strength of the Grave thing. No, there we go. Strength of the Grave. Can't use this if you're reduced to 0 hit points by radiant damage or crit hit. Oh, that's fun. I mean, that's fun. Kind of sad they took that out. It's better, but it's yeah. Level 6 is Beasts of Ill Omen. You cast Summon Beast. Didn't it used to be Hound of Ill Omen? Use the Direwolf stat block. Okay, so this is better then. It's a bonus action without expending spell slots, without preparing it, without material components. It's Ghost Doggo. Creatures within 5 feet of it have disadvantage on saving throws against spells you cast. When you cast a spell, you can modify it so it doesn't require concentration. If you do so, it becomes 1 minute instead. That simplifies things. In this instance, I appreciate the simplicity because it is a pain to constantly have to look up the direwolf stat block and also remember the specific things of what it can do. So yeah. Yeah. So that's good. Congrats. That is better, I think. Could you modify it? No, because it didn't require modifying because it wasn't a spell. Because it just lasted. It didn't need to have a limitation. Okay. Level 14, Shadow Walk. When you're in dim light or darkness, you can take a bonus action to teleport 120 feet to an unoccupied space. You can bamf. Dim light, darkness, bonus action, teleport. Cool, exactly the same. Level 18, Umbral Form. Stop highlighting things. Umbral Form is when you use your innate sorcery, you can adopt a shadowy form. You can move through stuff, but you take 1d10 if you stop in stuff. And you gain resistance to all damage except force and radiant. At level 18, you can spend 6 sorcery points as a bonus action to magically transform into a shadowy form. Shadowy form. Yep. Resistance to the same. You take 5, so instead of a d10, it's 5. Okay, it's the same. This is linked to your innate sorcery, so you get more use of it for free, which is cool. You can't. That's not how that works, because it says you have to restore it. So you get 1 use for free, which is better than no uses for free. So that's better, I guess. So, I mean, that's better. I think that's actually better, which is good. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not really feeling this book so far. It's probably coming across. I'll save it. We'll get into it in a minute. I've only got one more subclass to go. The Undead Warlock. This is one I haven't played, but was going to play in a future campaign, because it's cool. Look at it. Anything's cool if it looks like that. Anyway, I'm just an edgelord. I can't help it. Deep in my soul. Just a very happy edgelord. Level 3, Form of Dread. As a bonus action, you can get grumpy, gaining the benefits below for a minute until you're incapacitated or until you end the form. No action required. You can do so a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. Temp health equal to 1d10 plus your warlock level. You have immunity to frightened. If you're frightened when you can transform, it ends. And once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can make they have to make a wisdom saving throw or become frightened until the end of your next turn. Wisdom saving throw. 1 minute. How many times could you do it? Proficiency bonus. Oh man, they're changing everything to stats instead of proficiency bonus, and I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it, to be honest. Proficiency bonus is a really good way of scaling because it scales just in general, and while I appreciate it makes the thing level without you needing to invest in stats, I kind of like that as well. You should be getting stronger anyway. None of these features are particularly game breaking if you have them anyway. I don't know. It also doesn't say anything about the form reflecting your patron. For example, your form could be a shroud of shadows forming the crown and robes of your lich patron, which is sick. Anyway, undead spells: Bane, blindness, deafness. There was a slash. You heard it, right? You heard me say the slash. You got it. Phantasmal force, ray of sickness, speak with dead, summon undead. Greater invisibility, phantasmal killer, anti-life shell, and cloud kill. Level 6, you gain grave touch. Blah blah blah. Necrotic damage from your attacks, warlock spells, and warlock features ignores resistance to necrotic damage. Once per turn, when you cast a spell that deals damage, you can change the spell's damage type to necrotic. That's cool. That's really cool. I actually like that a lot. Can't remember if that's what it was before. We'll find out in a second. When you hit with necrotic damage while using your Form of Dread, you can roll 1 additional damage die. Okay, once per turn. It's not bad because you're turning stuff into necrotic damage anyway. I don't hate that as a once per turn thing. You don't gain exhaustion from dehydration, malnutrition, or suffocation. Isn't it funny that malnutrition is a legit thing in the book? There's rules for it. You don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. I like that. Level 6. Grave touched. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. Yep, it's the same thing, but with different words. In addition, you can place damage with necrotic, and you can roll 1 additional damage die when determining the necrotic damage the target takes. That wasn't once per turn, so they made that worse. They made it worse. Why did they make it worse? Necrotic Husk, level 10. You have resistance to necrotic damage when using your Form of Dread. You have immunity. If you drop to 0 hit points and don't die outright, you can get all scary, all Halloween Spirit Halloween. I'm not American. I think we have an equivalent here in the UK. Much to think about. Anyway, each creature, I got completely distracted there. Each creature of your choice in a 30-foot emanation from you must make a con save or take 2d10 necrotic damage plus your charisma modifier. Your hit points then change to twice your warlock level, and you gain 1 exhaustion level. Okay. Necrotic Husk, resistance to necrotic, you get immune. Yep. 1 hit point. Okay. Do you get more health? Other than that, it's the same. Oh, you can use it more often. Once you use this 1d4 long rests. Oof. And this is per short rest now, which is much better. This is great if you can get rid of exhaustion levels once per short rest, which you can do if you take the Survivor Feat from Grim Hollow, which is a really good horror book you should check out. We'll get into that in a minute too. Your Form of Bread, Superior Bread at level 14. Your Form of Bread improves, granting you the following benefits while you're using it. You have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. You get a fly speed equals to a speed and can hover. You can move through stuff, 1d10. That's the 3rd time we've seen that feature in this book. Bonkers. Whenever you cast a warlock spell from Conjuration or Necromancy, you can cast it without any verbal, somatic, or material components except for the ones which cost money.
It's good that we have to support rich people still in these features. Oh, it's very different. The old one, as an action, you can project your spirit from your body, you leave behind your body a suspended animation. Your spirit resembles your physical form. It can remain away for an hour until your concentration is broken. Your spirit and body gain resistance. You don't have to do the thing with the spells. Cool. Fly speed. Cool. When using a form of dread, once on each returns when you deal necrotic damage to a creature, you'll gain hit points equal to half the necrotic damage dealt once per long rest. This is not once per long rest, because this is linked to your form of dread instead, which means that you get more of it. So that's good. That's better. I think it's less interesting, like projecting your spirit, but it is better. So other such hand signals. I don't know if any of those will even make the cut. Who knows? Life is chaos. Tip your waitresses? It's better, I guess. You get the necrotic husk more often, which is good. Your superior dread is better, which is good. But also you do the damage less often, which is bad. Man. Yeah. It is. Am I being too harsh on these? You can tell me. I won't take it personally. I don't take anything personally. Both of my children at various points in their life have told me they don't love me. I don't take anything personally apart from that anymore. They don't do that regularly. I love my children dearly, and they love me dearly. It's a good time. Anyway. Thorny backgrounds. I'm not interested in the backgrounds. Let's go over the species options. Dampier. We just got the Dampier. This is the same, right? Is this the same as the other Dampier? Probably. Climb speed, you can leave your hands free. You can Spider-Man. Resistance to necrotic. You can bite people with your con modifier. The damage is con modifier, not the attack for some reason. You can also regain hit points. Yep. You can only do this a number of times. Yep. Equal to proficiency bonus. Yep. Cool. It's fine. Hexblood. Hags. Pointy Hat would love this. It's not true. Pointy Hat would make their own Hexblood. I feel like they did. I watch a lot of YouTube, man. Dark vision of 60 feet. Bonus action. You can take some hair out or detach a nail. Some other method. Love it. As a magic action, you can send a telepathic message, 25 words or fewer, to a creature holding it, as long as you're within 10 miles of it. Do that as many times as you want. That's cool. If you're within 10 miles of the token, you can use a magic action to see through the token. Very cool. I mean, I like that a lot. You also get disguise self, and hex. Disguise health is called masking. You can do this once per long rest without using a spell slot. Also, you can use spell slots. Blah blah blah. Standard stuff. Lupin. This is new, I believe. Doggos. Dark vision of 60 feet. Unarmed strike, deal slashing instead of bludgeoning. You can also use both damage and shove, but only once per turn. Ooh, that's very cool. I'm here for that. Ooh, my brain is. She's working now. As a bonus action, you can howl. Creatures within 50 feet of you must succeed. Creatures of your choice will get a disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws until the start of your next turn. Get this number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. That's really cool. I like that a lot. And then Reborn. Advantage on death saves. You don't get exhaustion levels. Not from the normal things. Long rest in 4 hours. You get proficiency in a skill of your choice. When you fail an ability check, you can add a d6 to the number, potentially succeeding. Number of times equal to proficiency again. And you get resistance to cold, necrotic, or poison. That's cool. I mean, I like those well enough. I don't think they're that different to the originals. I think the Dampier is worse. The Hexblood feels the same. Reborn feels... I feel like they didn't used to get resistance, so that might be better. And Lupin's normal, and I like the Lupin. They seem cool. Feats. There are 2 feats. Both of them are origin feats. Get Sharp Eye. When you take the search or study action, you give yourself advantage on any ability check made as part of that action. And you use this feature a number of times equal to proficiency bonus. All uses in a long rest. Unless you're playing as a noir detective and you're worried about the dame that walked in, I don't think that's a great feature, personally. But maybe that's just me. Survivor. You can reroll your initiative. If it's below a 9, you must use the new roll. And when you fail a saving throw to avoid charmed or frightened, you can take a reaction to add a bonus to it, potentially succeeding. Okay. And then there's Dark Gifts. I'm not going over all of these, and there's a good reason why, and I'm going to go into it in a minute. But we'll take a look at the first 2. Aberrant Anatomy. You can hold your breath for a minute. So these are Dark Gift feats. These are like roleplay feats, right? Which I'm a huge fan of, as anyone who has watched my stuff before will know. You get proficiency in the perception skill. If you lack it, you also gain expertise in that skill. We like expertise. In addition, you get blind sight at 15 feet. That's pretty solid. These will have a downside. Immediately after you take a d20 test and you roll a 1 on the d20, the aberrant influence infecting your form flares, wrenching control of your flesh. You make a con save, DC plus your proficiency bonus. Oh, now we're stacking. On a fail save, you get stunned until your next turn. Oof. An echoing soul. Your proficiency into skills of your choice. You can also gain expertise, and you can change it. Cool. Language of your choice. Cool. If you roll a 1 on a d20, you get incapacitated, and your speed is halved. Okay, so that's the vibe, right? You get some stuff. If you roll a d1 on a d20, bad things happen. Yeah. So first of all, if you're a halfling, you can re-roll 1s. So that makes these just good most of the time, which is nice. Hold on, I'm going to get used to this at some point. I swear. I edit live using OBS instead of editing like a normal human being. So here we are. These are interesting, but they're substantially less interesting than the Dark Bargains from Crooked Moon and also the transformations from Grim Hollow. And really, that is my issue with the book, is that everything that's interesting about it is more interesting in both Crooked Moon and Grim Hollow, and we got both of those last year, which are fantastic. I like the two new subclasses well enough. The artificer one feels a bit uninspiring. The Hollow Warden hopefully sets a new precedent for rangers, and with them using Favorite Foe in the same way that Druids use Wild Shape, I'm here for that. That's fantastic. Cannot wait to see if that pans out, or if I get to be sad next time I read a first party ranger subclass. The reprints some of them are worse in my opinion. Most of them are mixed at best, which is rough to say the least. And I don't love buying things I already basically have. I really wish they'd just update these via D&D Beyond. I don't know how you monetize that, or if you monetize that. I know that's important. People are working on these. I do appreciate that. They deserve to be paid. People deserve to be paid for the work they do. This is not a controversial take, I don't think. If you think that's a controversial take, I do think you're probably in the wrong place. But yeah, ultimately, this is a book that I think I can switch to my face, actually. I think I might be done, as there's no spells in this book. This is a book which feels as though it's got a little bit of stuff for everyone, and I think in doing that, it's kind of not got enough for anyone specific. As a player and a DM myself, I will be using stuff from it. Super happy to have a bunch of new monsters. The Domains of Dread are cool. I look forward to mucking around with them. It's nice to have a Cthulhu stat block, for example, right? It's once again taking the same adventure design philosophy that we've had previously, where it's just like a bunch of sentences thrown at you, and then they're like, you got it, boy, don't worry. Which is, I don't want to say lazy. Lazy isn't the right word, but not enough for new DMs. I can run stuff like that. You might be able to run stuff like that. We haven't had a 2024 adventure yet, outside of Cobol Press's Northlands, at least not on 2024, on D&D Beyond, which is weird. Right? It's weird. It's 2024 D&D. We are halfway through 2026. Surely that's a bit strange that we don't have that yet. So I'm pretty mixed on this book. Hopefully seeing this has helped you decide whether or not you think it's worth it for you. I think it probably is worth it for me, but I'm a sicko. I buy most of the stuff on D&D Beyond, right? I'm a part of the problem, if that's something you're against. And I'll use a lot of this. I also won't use a lot of this. Dark Gifts, I think, are incredibly boring. They're too simple. They're too underwhelming, and the downside often offsets the good side. And as I said, if you're a halfling, you just get to ignore the downside, basically. The new species options are 3 out of 4 of them. 75% of them are reprints. One of them we've had already this year. 5 of the 7 subclasses are also reprints, and I don't think that's a great precedent to set, frankly. I think half and half is the most I would be okay with, and it's not half and half. And it's not even like this is all of the horror-themed subclasses they could have, right? We have other ones. Yeah, the Necromancer isn't in this. I don't believe we've had that updated for 2024, and that's weird. If this was a book of reprints, then I guess I'd be complaining about there being more reprints, but at least there would be more reprints. I don't know. Could have had a fighter horror-themed subclass, like the Barrow Guard from Crooked Moon, which is a Death Knight. You know what? I don't know. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. I hope you all well and continue to do well. I'm going to do an end screen where I point you to stuff, and I'll say goodbye after that. So if you want to watch a review on a horror book, I do recommend you can check out the Crooked Moon review that I did, or the Grim Hollow review, which I'm going to try and put on screen if I remember how to do that. And in the meantime, until next time, do take care, and I will see you I'll see you whenever I see you. Goodbye.